My father blew $240,000 funding my brother's architecture firm, telling me women aren't built for STEM and should marry well. I became a senior structural engineer in secret. Then his lead developer recognized me as the state inspector who condemned a rival's project. My dad stood under a vaulted glass ceiling in front of 200 investors, erasing my existence with a laugh. He called Nathan our family's sole visionary, raising his champagne. I stood 20 feet away, a licensed structural engineer with 14 years of brutal experience. Nobody in that Chicago ballroom had a clue who I was. Minutes earlier, my father introduced me to a politician as a distant cousin, tagging along, treating me like a stray. Let me rewind. At 19, my parents liquidated their retirement, handing $240,000 to launch Nathan's boutique firm. When I asked for college help, my dad scoffed. Women aren't built for STEM. Diane, marry well. I waited tables until 2 a.m., slept 4 hours, and took maximum course loads. I graduated summa cum laude at the very top of my engineering class. Nobody came. I dragged myself through a master's program at MIT entirely on my own dime, drowning in loans. Fast forward exactly 14 years. I was lead forensic engineer for Illinois. My parents assumed I filed building permits at some boring cubicle. I never corrected them. It was less exhausting than begging for validation. Then came the unveiling of the Apex, a $60 million luxury high-rise Nathan supposedly designed. My mother sent me a reluctant pity invite. Don't talk about your data entry job, she warned. Tonight is about Nathan. I went anyway. At the extravagant gala, my father made his grand speech, explicitly calling Nathan the only child who made him proud. I stood in the shadows, listening to elites whisper that they never knew Nathan had a sister. That is when a man in a sharp charcoal suit stopped dead. He stared at my lapel, where I had absent-mindedly left my silver inspector badge clipped to my blazer. Are you the state auditor? He asked, breathless. Yes. He let out a loud, shuddering gasp. It is you. I recognized him instantly. Reed Harmon, the billionaire developer bankrolling this high-rise. 2 years ago, I audited a massive commercial plaza he was buying, caught a foundation flaw, and saved his empire from collapse. Nathan noticed us and sprinted over, sweating. She just files permits. Nathan stammered, stepping between us. Permits? Reed's eyes narrowed. Nathan, this woman is the foremost structural forensic expert in the state. She saved my portfolio. My father materialized out of nowhere, jaw clenched. Diane, this is an important night for your brother. Go home. I planted my feet firmly on the marble floor. I am not going anywhere, Dad. Right then, my encrypted tablet vibrated. An urgent red flag alert from my field team. I had ordered a rush stress analysis on the Apex 2 days ago out of professional curiosity. I opened the PDF. I read the numbers, hands dead steady, just like when I examine a collapsed bridge. The steel tensile strength was falsified. The foundation was sinking. Worse, I pulled up the licensing database. Nathan's license had been suspended 3 years ago in Nevada for gross negligence. He had been forging stamps and outsourcing math to overseas interns. Reed saw my expression shift. What is it? I told him. Reed didn't scream. He walked straight to the podium, grabbed the microphone, and stared at the crowd. This building is officially condemned as of tonight, Reed announced, voice echoing. The state inspector just provided the data. Her name is Diane. She's Nathan's sister. And the man we are celebrating doesn't hold a valid license. He lost it 3 years ago. The room erupted into absolute chaos. My father physically stumbled backward, face turning ashen. Nathan grabbed the mic, crying and screaming desperate excuses. I cut through the noise. When were you planning on telling them the building was sinking, Nathan? Dad's $240,000 investment, and you built a tomb. Silence suffocated the room. Reed walked over, pulled the ceremonial golden scissors out of Nathan's hands, and tossed them aside. My lawyers will systematically destroy you. My father slowly dragged his eyes away from his golden boy, staring at the sheer devastation. He looked at me, and for the first time in 34 years, he had absolutely nothing to say. I adjusted my blazer, turned my back on the wreckage, and walked out the glass doors, past the cameras and the ruined legacy. Behind me, I heard him finally scream my name over the approaching sirens. I didn't turn around.